Okay, this is solutions to the test samples for chapter 3 and 4. Okay, number 1 is which one of the order pair is a solution to the equation. So in order to find the right pair that satisfies the inequality, we have to plug in all the numbers. So let's try. This is an order pair, so the first component is the x value, the second component is the y value. So what we do is substitute 0 for x and the second component for y in the equation. So for the first order pair, let's plug in 0 and 0. So x equals 0, y equals 0. So negative 6, 0 plus 4, 0 minus 36. Is it equal to 0? We have to find out if the left side of the equation comes with the same as 0 on the right side. Then this is 0 plus 0 minus 36. So as you can see here, 36 is not equal to 0, so this is not a solution. So we keep doing this for the second pair, third pair, fourth pair, and fifth pair. So let's consider let's check the fifth pair if this is okay. So it's negative 6 times x is what? 2, and y is 12. So replace x with 2, replace 4 with 12 minus 16. Is it equal to 0? Okay, so negative 12 plus this is 48 minus 36. Is it equal to 0? Okay, let's check it out. So negative 42 plus 48, negative 12 plus 48 is 36, minus 36 is 36. That is equal to 0, which is equal to 0. So, yes, this is the solution. So this pair satisfies the inequality, and all others does not satisfy the inequality. Okay, this number 2 is about finding the equation of a line. It's a straight line that connects through, that passes through these 2 points. So in order to find the equation of a straight line, we need to know 2 things. The first one is a slope. We gotta know the slope and point. So once we know the slope and point, we can use one of those 2 formulas. And one is point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Or you can use the slope intercept formula. One of these is fine. So in this case, 2 points are given so that we can find the slope. Okay, slope is what? Slope is rise over run. Okay, rise over run is the difference in y. Run is the difference in x, the horizontal. So rise is, the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's assume that the first one is the first pair, order pair is the first point. The second order pair is the second point. So we can use this one. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So that y2 minus y1 is negative 8 minus y1. y1 is negative 4. Make sure you put the parentheses around negative 4. Why? Because we want to protect the negative number. Okay, x2 minus x1, so x2 minus x1. Then this is equal to negative 8 plus 4 over negative 2 plus 6. So negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. So the slope is negative 1. We found the slope. And then we need a point. We have 2 points, so we can use any point. So why don't we use the second point? Because second point, the values are the smaller. So okay, the slope is negative 1, and the slope, and then the point, let's use one of these 2 points. Doesn't matter, any point is fine. And then use the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's use this formula, point slope formula. Point slope formula, so y minus y1, still same, put parentheses, negative 1 times x minus x1. Then y plus 8 is equal to negative times x plus 2. Now negative 1 times means negative. So from here, y plus 8 is equal to Now distribute, make an opposite of the parenthesis, the negative x minus 2. Then get rid of this plus 8, so we do subtraction from each side. So y equals negative x plus 10. Okay, so this is the equation of the straight line that passes through these 2 points. Okay, this is not plus 10, this got to be negative 10, right? Negative 2 minus negative 8 is negative 10. All right, let's try number 3. Okay, number 3 is, here is an equation, and let's find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. X-intercept, how do you find the x-intercept? It's really important. Set the y value equal to 0, right? Set y value is equal to 0, then you can find the x-intercept. So plug in 0 for y, so 2x minus 5 times 0 is equal to negative 30. Then 2x is equal to, this is 0, so negative 30. Divide each side by 2, then negative 15. So the x-intercept is what? X-intercept is, let me write the x-intercept. X-intercept is x value is negative 5, y value is 0. And the x-coordinate of the x-intercept is negative 15. Okay, how about the y-intercept? How do you find the y-intercept? Okay, the other variable, set the other variable equal to 0. So plug in 0 for x. Then 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 5y is equal to negative 30. Divide each side by negative 5. Then negative 30 over negative 5 is equal to 6. So the y-intercept is equal to what? X equals 0, y is 6. And then 6 is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. Okay, number 4. There are 2 points and the slope connecting these 2 points is 2. The slope is given, 2 points are given, but one of the variable is unknown. So let's find this value b. Okay, so since there are 2 points and slope is given, why don't we use the slope formula? Slope formula. What's the slope formula? Okay, slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then this slope is equal to 2, right? So this one is equal to 2. So slope is equal to 2, so we're going to use this equation. And then plug in all these y1, y2, y1, x2, and x1. So why don't we set this, the first point is x1, y1. The second order pair is y2, okay, x2, and y2. So the equation will be y2 minus y1. So 6 minus negative 4 over y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. x2 is b minus x1. So this gotta be equal to 2. Then this is equal to, okay, 6 plus 4 over b minus 2 is equal to 2. Then let's simplify the equation. So the numerator is 10 over b minus 2 is equal to 2. Then what do we do next? Okay, next, why don't we use cross multiply? So multiply 2 and b minus 2 and 10 times 1. So 2 times b minus 2 is equal to 10 times 1, which will be 10. And then clear the parentheses, so 2b minus 4 is equal to 10. And next, get rid of minus 4. So what we do is add 4 to each side. So 2b is equal to 14. And divide each side by 2. So we got 7. So the value of b is 7. And then in this case, make sure that the slope is given so that we will find an equation using the slope formula. Okay, use the slope formula so that we have an equation, and then from this we can find the missing variable, the value of the missing variable b. Okay, find the slope of the line passing through these 2 points. This one is pretty simple. Just use the formula, right? So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then 4 minus negative 2 over 3 minus 3. Okay, so just like the previous example, let's use this the first point, second point. The second point is x2 minus y2. I'm sorry, x2 y2. This is x1 y1. All right, then the numerator is 4 plus 2 is 6, right? Denominator is 0. So once the denominator is 0, then this is undefined. Undefined. The slope is undefined. Right? Slope is undefined because the denominator is 0, then it's undefined. Actually, the line passing through these 2 points is a vertical line. And a vertical line has slope undefined, right? So the slope is undefined. What about the 0 is in the numerator? If the 0 is in the numerator, then the value is 0. Then the slope is 0. Slope is 0, then it's a horizontal line. Okay, for this example, vertical line, the slope is undefined because the denominator is 0. The denominator is 0. Okay, number 6, there are 2 equations and we want to determine whether these 2 lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So in order to determine those parallel, perpendicular, we have to check the slope. So in order to find the slope, we have to write the equation in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, which means y is equal to mx plus b. Then the coefficient of x is the slope. Okay, that's what we have to do. Then if 2 lines are parallel, okay, line 1 and line 2 are parallel, if what? 2 slopes are the same. If 2 lines are perpendicular, that means product of 2 slope is equal to -1, or one of the slope is equal to negative reciprocal of the other one. The sign is different. So first, okay, let's rewrite the equations in slope-intercept form. So x minus 2y minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, I will leave 2y minus 2y and move others to the other side. So negative 2y is equal to negative x plus 3, and divide each side by negative 2. So negative 1 over negative 2x plus 3 over negative 2. Then y is equal to negative is positive. Okay, if you are not sure, then you can do this way. Negative x over what? Negative 2, right? This is better. Then negative positive, so what we have is 1 over 2x. And x over 2 is 1 over 2x. The minus 3 over 2. So the slope of the first equation is negative 2. 1 over 2. This is m1. Okay, for the second equation, negative 6x plus 1 is equal to 3y minus 5. So let's move 3y to the other side. So negative 3y is equal to, move all others to the other side. Then 6x, okay, minus 1, minus 5. Then negative 3y is equal to 6x minus 6. And divide each side by negative 3. Okay, negative 3. Then y is equal to negative 2x plus 2. So we have negative 2. This is m2. So let's compare these two. What is the product? m1 is not equal to m2, right? So they are not parallel. How about product of what is m1 and m2? Multiply these two. So 1 over 2 times negative 2 is equal to negative 1. This is equal to negative 1, right? So the product is equal to negative 1, so that 2 lines are perpendicular. Okay, number 7, function is given f of x has some expression, and we want to find f of -2 minus f of 3. Okay, the first f of -2 means what? Okay, here it is. F of -2 means -2 is the input, right? Input, x value. So plug in this -1 for x in the expression. So f of 2 means we have to substitute -2 for x in the function. So we can write it as, okay, let's go to the right. So f of -2 means 2 times, replace x with -2 over 3 minus 4 times -2 minus f of -3, f of 3. So replace x with now the input value 3. So 2 times x is 3 over 3 minus 4 times 3. Then evaluate this expression. So this is equal to, okay, so we got a parenthesis. So -4 minus 3 over 3 plus 8. Okay, -4 minus 2 is plus 4 plus 8 minus, okay, 2 times 3 is 6 minus 3 over 3 minus 12. Look at this. Okay, 2 times -2 is -4, right? Okay, minus 3. Okay, then that is equal to -4 minus 7 is, the numerator is -7. The denominator is 11 minus 6 minus 3 is 3. The denominator is 3 minus 12 is -9. Then this is equal to -7 over 11. Okay, the negative minus and negative becomes plus. And 3 divided by 3 and 9, we can divide the numerator and denominator by 3. So 1 over 9 over 3 is 3. Now the denominators are different, so why don't we make it LCD? Denominator, rewrite the denominator with LCD, and LCD is 33. Right? LCD is 33. So we gotta multiply the numerator by 3. This multiply the both top and bottom by 3, then -21. Even this, multiply both top and bottom by 11, so that the denominator becomes 33. So that is equal to plus denominator 33, the numerator is -21. So -11. Oh, no. 1 times 11 is 11, right? So this is equal to -21 plus 11 over 33 is equal to -10 over 33. So this is the answer. Okay, number 8 is the piecewise function. So in this case, there are 3 functions, and these 3 functions are used based on their input values. So first of all, we have to find the input value where we have to find the x intervals for each input value. Then once you find the interval, then use the expression for that interval. So f of 2. Okay, f of 2 means the input is 2. Then the input 2, it belongs to where? Okay, 2 belongs to, okay, x belongs to over here, the third equation, right? X equals, if x is greater than equal to 2, then we can use this expression. So since x value is 2, input value is 2, which is the x value is 2, it belongs to this category, right? This one is just less than. Okay, so number 2, input value 2 belongs to this interval, so we gotta use this function. So -2 times x is 2. Okay, minus. Now f of -1, the input value -1, x value is -1. Where does it belong to? It belongs to the first one or second one? It belongs to the second interval, right? Because -1 is between -2 and 2. It belongs to the second interval, so we gotta use the second expression. Then that is 3x minus 1. So why don't we put the parenthesis for f of -1? Because this is minus. So 3 times x is what? -1 minus 1. So this is important. Put parentheses around f of -1, because if you don't put parentheses, you are multiplying only this guy by negative, right? Okay, so the parenthesis is important in this case. So that is equal to what? -4 minus -3 minus 1. So -4 minus -4, that is equal to -4 plus 4 is equal to 0. So 0 is the answer. Okay, number 9 is to find the domain and the range. Okay, domain, usually function has the domain of a function is all real numbers, but there are special cases. So this is a square root. In the square root, the domain always comes from inside the square root radicand, and the radicand has to be greater than or equal to 0. Always. This is always. So we can get the domain from x plus 3. Because x plus 3 is inside the square root, this has to be greater than or equal to 0. Then x is minus 3 each side, then x is greater than or equal to -3. That's the domain. Okay, how about the range? Okay, range is, as you can see here, this whole thing is always greater than or equal to 0. Right? The minimum value of the function is, minimum value of the square root is greater than or equal to 0. And then this whole value is decreased by 4. So the minimum y value is what? -4. So the range is greater than or equal to -4. We know the graph of this, right? This is translation of square root to what? 3 to the left, and then 4 bottom, 4 down, right? 3 left, 4 down. Then this is gonna be something like this, right? Something like this. So this is -3, -4. So x is greater than -3, and then y is greater than or equal to -4. So x is greater than or equal to -3, and so on, right? Okay, let's find the transformation of the graph of absolute value of x for h of x. Okay, for the transformation, we will always check if x is replaced, if x became x plus some number, then this means what? Shift 3 left, shift 3 units to the left. Plus 3 means shift the graph of the original function 3 units to the left. 3 plus means left, and x minus 3 means shift 3 units to the right. Okay, and then if the whole thing, if you have f of x, I don't know what the f of x, but plus 2 means what? This means shift 2 units up. Now plus means up, and minus 2, f of x minus 2 means shift 2 units down. Okay. For x, plus is left, minus is right. For f of x, if we add something, plus something, then up, minus something, then down. So this means shift the graph of absolute value of x 3 units what? Shift 3 units right. And then 2 units up, right? Okay, number 11, solve the system of equations. So when we solve it, we can either use elimination, substitution. So in this case, why don't we use elimination? So elimination is fine. So why don't we multiply the second equation by -2? Okay, this is 2, right? 2. So why don't we make this one -2? So we gotta multiply the second equation by -2. So leave the first equation alone, and the second equation is what? -2x. So I'm gonna multiply, okay, let me write it here. So I will multiply this equation by what? -2. Then -2x plus 6y is equal to -50. Right? Then add these two equations. Then x terms cancel out, and y term is 7y, -42. Then divide each side by 7, then -6. So the y value is -6. And then we can find x from either the first equation or the second equation. Then from the second equation, we know the y value. So x minus 3 times, replace y with -6. Then x plus 18 is equal to 25, minus 18 each side. Then x is equal to 7. So x is 7, y is -6. So the answer is write the answer in order pair. Then x is 7, y is -6. That's the answer, right? Okay, number 12. Okay, so in order to solve this one, okay, let's get rid of y. So why don't we multiply the first equation by 3 and the second equation by -2. So you can either eliminate x or y, it doesn't matter. So at this time I will eliminate the term y. Then multiply the first equation by 3. So that will be 3x, 12x minus 6y is equal to 24. And the second equation, multiply the second equation by -2, then -12x plus 6y is equal to -24. Okay, and then what? Add these two equations, then x terms are gone, y terms are gone, that is equal to 24 minus 24 is 0. Okay, this is our result, 0 equals 0. This is true statement, right? True statement always. So once you get this, what's our conclusion? There are infinitely many solutions. There are infinitely many solutions. Okay, so whenever this is true, we conclude it as there are infinitely many solutions. So why? Because two lines are parallel and two lines are actually identical, exactly the same. As you can see here, these two equations are exactly the same. Multiply one of them is negative, one of them by negative, then the equations are same. Two lines are same, so they overlap all the way, so that there are infinitely many solutions. What if the result is not true, false, like 0 equals 5, 0 equals 2, or 2 equals 5? Then there is no solution. Okay, for this number, why don't we this time eliminate x? It doesn't matter, you can eliminate y, but this time I will eliminate x. So the coefficients are 2 and -3, then the LCM is what? 6, right? LCM is 6. So let's make the coefficient of x equal to 6. So multiply the first equation by 3 and the second equation by 2. So multiply the first equation by 3, then 6x minus 12y is equal to 27. And then the second equation is multiplied by 2. Then -6x plus 12y is equal to -20. Then the sum is cancel out x, cancel out y. 0 is equal to 7. This is false, right? False. False means what? there is no solution. Why there's no solution? Why? Two lines are parallel. Two lines are parallel, then they never, they never what? Cross each other, right? They never cross each other. So there's no solution. So make sure that if the result is false, then there is no solution. There's no intersection between two lines. Okay, this is a system of three equations. Okay, as you can see here carefully, the first equation has variable x already. So x is given. Thank you, right? Thank you. So why don't we plug in 6 for x into the second equation and third equations. So from the second equation, x is 6, right? 6. So 2 times 6 plus y is equal to 12. X equals 6. Well, okay, let's check the second equation. Then from here you can find y directly. So 2 times 6 is 12 plus y is equal to 12. So that minus 12 each side, then y equals 0. Y equals 0. So we found two values. X is given, y is 0. Then from the third equation, since we know two values, the values of x and y, why don't we just plug in those numbers? So x equals 6 plus y equals 0 minus 2z is equal to 6. Then 6 minus 2z is equal to 6. Minus 6 each side, so negative 2z is equal to 0. Then z is equal to what? 0. So the solution is x is 6, y equals 0, then z equals 0. This is the solution. Okay, number 15. Okay, the first equation is divisible by 3. So why don't we rewrite the first equation? So divide the first equation by 3, then x plus z is equal to 2. Then 2x plus the second equation is the same, and third equation is also same. Okay, from the first equation, why don't we get rid of this 2x, the x term in the second equation? So what we have to do is, why don't we multiply the second equation by 2? Okay, multiply the second equation by negative 2 and add it to the second equation. So multiply the, okay, let me erase this one. So we can multiply the first equation by 2, negative 2, and then add it to the second equation. Okay, then this is equal to 3y minus 2z is equal to negative 1. So this is the second equation. This is the second equation. So write it as, the first equation is unchanged. We are replacing the second equation with this result. So that will be 3y minus 2z is equal to negative 1. And the third equation is the same, 8. Okay, from this, look at the second equation, third equation. Why don't we subtract the second equation from the, subtract the third equation from the second equation. Let me rewrite it as this here. Okay, the first equation is 3, the second equation is unchanged. Now I'm going to change this third equation. So why don't we, okay, 2 minus 1. Okay, 2 minus 1. So second equation is this. Then multiply the third equation by negative. Multiply the third equation by negative. 2z is equal to negative 8. And then left side becomes 0. The right side becomes what? Negative 9, right? So this is the third equation. This is third equation. So third equation is equal to 0, negative 9. Then as you can see here, the third equation is for what? For the z equation, right? Z equation. That means 0 times z is equal to negative 9. So 0 times something is negative 9. Is there any value of z so that product of 0 and some numbers negative 9? No, cannot, right? You cannot find any z value. So we say there is no solution. Okay, this is really important. 0 equals something. 0 equals something. Then 0 means 0 times z. This is the coefficient. 0 times z is equal to negative 9, right? So in that case, we cannot find any z value that makes some number negative 9. So 0 times something is always 0. It has to be 0. So we cannot find negative 9. So there's no solution. But what if you have something like this? The third equation is equal to 0 equals 0. Then this means 0 times z is equal to 0. Then you can use any z value because multiplying any value by 0 is 0. So in this case, there are infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. In this case only, right? In this case only. But since this is negative 9, there is no solution. Okay, in this in this case, okay, we're gonna write the system of linear equations for this matrix. Okay, these are all coefficients, so you can write it as the system of equation is the first row is the first equation, the second row is the second equation. So the first column is x, so 2x plus 0y, right? 0y is equal to 2, column is 2. And then the second row is x, 1 times x plus 1 times y is equal to negative 3. And then we don't usually write 0y, right? Or 1x or 1y. So this is equal to 2x is equal to 2. And the second equation is x plus y is equal to negative 3. Okay, the order of a matrix or size or dimension of the matrix is always row by column. Row comes first. The number of rows by the number of columns. Number of rows is what? 1, 2, 3. So the order of the matrix is 3 by column. Column is 1, 2, 3, 4. We only count the numbers. Okay, we don't count this column. This column. So only the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 columns. So 3 by 4. Okay, let's find the value of x. So in this case, we have to do back substitution. Back substitution means, okay, from the last row, z, we find the z, then substitute z value in the second equation and so on. So from the third equation, the z value is what? Divide each side by 2. Then z equals 2. Since z equals 2, substitute in the second equation. So y plus 4 times z equals 2 equals 5. Then this means y plus 6 is equal to y plus 8 equals 5. Then minus 8 each side. So that y is equal to negative 3. Okay, from the first equation, x minus 3, y value is negative 3, plus 2 times z value equals 2, 16. Then x plus 9 plus 4 is equal to 16. Then x plus 13 is equal to 16. And minus 13 each side, then x equals 3. So we have x value, y value, and z value. So we are looking for x, so this is the answer, right? Answer. And if you write the order pair on order triple, then it will be 3, negative 3, and 2. Right? And then this is the x value we are looking for. Okay, for number 19, okay, let's fill out the blank. Alright, as you can see here, the first row is unchanged, but second row, let's compare the second row. This 4 became 0. 4 became 0, and then 6 became negative 6. I don't know how it became like this, but okay, let's try to find out some pattern so that we know that 4 becomes 0. Using the first row, it looks like, okay, why don't we multiply the first row? Okay, multiply the, what I do is, I will add, okay, multiply the second row by not multiply the second. Okay, multiply the first row by -4 plus the second row. And let's try this one because I want to make this part 0. I want to make this one 0. In order to make this one 0, multiply the first row by -4 and then add it to the second equation, second row. So multiply the first row by 4. -4 is -4, -8, -12. And then the second row is 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so add these two. Then the first one is 0. The second column is -3. The last column is -6. So from the result, okay, the first value is 0. And the last value is -6. So the second value should be -3. This got to be -3. Okay, this is how we can find the missing number. So always use the first row. Use the first row, multiply some number so that equals the first one is equal to the opposite of 4, -4. So that we can find the missing factor, missing number. Okay, sketch the graph. So let's graph each inequality. The 1, second inequality, third inequality, and the fourth inequality. Okay, so that is equal to, okay, this is x-axis, y-axis. The first inequality is y is less than 4. So this is 4. Then y is less than 4 means this is straight line. There's equal sign, so solid line, and everything below the line, right? All the area below the line. Okay, the second one is what? Y is greater than 0. Y is greater than 0, then it's a horizontal line. This is 0. So all area greater than this, so above the red line. Okay, the next one is x is greater than or equal to 0. X equals 0 means vertical line, right? X equals 0 means a vertical line. And there's equal sign, so solid line. And then x is greater than 0 means the area right side of the line. Okay, the last one is, okay, the slope is -2 and the y-intercept is 12. Okay, y-intercept is 12. It's all the way to the top somewhere. And x equals 0, y equals 12, and the y equals 0, then what is x? Y equals 0, then if y equals 0, then what is it? X. Then x moves to the left. So 2x is equal to 12. Okay, let's make an equal sign. I want to find the x-intercept. So x equals 6, right? X-intercept. I want to find x-intercept. So set the y value equal to 0. X-intercept. Set y value equal to 0. Let's set y value equal to 0. Then x equals 6. So when x equals 6, let's say this is 6. Then the graph is y-intercept is way up there. So it's going to be something like this. Going way up there, right? And here's the intersection. All right, then y is less than. Okay. Now this equation, this is an inequality in slope-intercept form. And y is less than, so that's our area below this line, right? Or we can test 0, 0, 0, 0. Plot 0, 0, then 0 is equal to less than -2 times 0 plus 12. Is this true? Is this true? This is true. So 0, 0 is a solution. 0, 0 is a solution. So that what? We can, so that the solution of this inequality is the area containing 0, 0. So it's got to be below the line, right? So between this is what? The common area is this. So this is the solution of this, actual graph of this system of inequalities. Okay, the solution, the graph is given. So we got to find, in this case, the inequalities. Okay, first of all, we got to write an equation first, equation of the line first. So we will write as slope-intercept form. And the slope is what? Slope is rise over run. M is rise over run. So we are moving down from here to here. From here to here, moving down 1 unit. So the vertical is -1. We are going 3 units to the right, so +3. So slope is negative 1/3, and y-intercept is 1. So y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 1. Now we gotta put the inequality symbol. So why don't we put, the solution is below the x-axis, below the line. Below the line means less than, right? Below the line means less than. Below the line means y is less than, not less than. So we put the less than symbol. Or you can try a point, test a point, 0, 0. You can test a point, 0, 0. So 0, x is also 0, plus 1, then 0 is equal to 1, right? 0 is equal to 1. 0 is a solution, so we have to use less than so that this becomes true. So we use this inequality, less than inequality, right? So this is the inequality of this graph.